Although it may look like it, this is not the head of a velociraptor. It's the head of the largest dogtooth tuna I've ever seen. Look at how fat its belly is. Look at its jaw. It doesn't even look real. I actually can't believe it's real. I'm living on a ship, sailing around some islands that are so remote, a lot of the local villagers have never actually seen white people before. This is my 7th liveaboard trip out here this year. Today is day 4, and I don't speak Arabic, but I'm pretty sure that my buddy here is asking God for dogtooth tuna. And so am I. I'm here for one reason, and one reason only: to find and to kill the biggest dogtooth tuna that I possibly can. That's not just my goal for this trip though. It's my goal in life. Indonesia is full of doggies. It's largely why I've lived here for the past 3 years. Basically, all I do is spearfish, and every once in a while, I see a big one. And sometimes, I'm even able to put a spear into it, like this one. This footage was from yesterday. It's the biggest doggy I've ever speared by far. But this story isn't about that fish. I already made that video, and although it was a big one, I'm well aware that there are much bigger ones out here still.
PB doggy for Lenny, here we go. Too weak to lift it up.
Which brings us to today. Real quick, you see that hat that I'm wearing with the mahi-mahi on it? That's my new merch, available on aquaticapes.com. We have other fish than just mahi though, and other colors as well. Anyways, because I already caught a big one yesterday, I now have the luxury of patience. I won't feel the need to pull the trigger on a small one now, which ideally will give me more chances to look for an even bigger one. At least, that's what I tell myself. But on one of my very first dives, I see a small one, and despite the fact that it's a little far, I can't resist. And sure enough, immediately after pulling the trigger, I see a massive tuna right next to me. And it was clearly swimming in closer. Let's watch that again. So, here's me being a fucking idiot, and there's the biggest doggy that I've ever seen in my life. Significantly bigger than the one that I caught yesterday, and I fucking blew it. I can't describe to you how disappointed I am in myself. We've been out here since sunrise, and now I'm not seeing any more doggies. A few hours later, I'm ready to call it quits and head back to the boat to eat and complain to the other guys about how fucking stupid I am. But just as I'm about to quit, my buddy tells me that he just saw a bunch of doggies right below us.
A dive? I was ready to.
I think he's lying. I think he's just trying to get me to stay out here longer with false hope. Doesn't he realize that I already scared the shit out of every single doggy in the area? But I go down to check anyways, just in case. And as it turns out, he wasn't lying. A perfect shot. I can tell that it's a big one, but you never really know how big it is until you bring it up to the surface. There's my buddy heading down to make sure that the fish is secure. And as I pull it up, it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I can't believe it. And although I was the one who pulled the trigger,
Oh, that would have done a bit more for you, man. That's a team effort there.
back on the mothership, my friend Andre, who owns Andre's Spear Guns and makes all the spear guns that I use, is waiting for us on Instagram Live, hoping to promote his spear guns.
Live from the scene.
You're live?
Yes.
Thanks to my Rob Allen spear gun.
Yeah.
I was getting upset. I was thinking, there's no fish. I was getting ready to come back to the boat.
Yeah.
And Frederick comes up from the dive and he says, I just saw doggies. And then I dove down, there was 5 of them, all big, but I think this was the biggest one. But one important question still weighs heavily on my mind. Should I go with XX Pro or Valencia? I want to look tan. Seriously though, we do actually have a problem. This is way too much fish. And we still have half of my fish from yesterday, along with a big grouper and a mackerel and tons of snappers, and we're probably gonna catch some more fish tomorrow. So, geographically, Indonesia is not a normal country. It's not one big landmass like the US or Australia. Instead, Indonesia is an island nation. made up of over 17,000 small islands, each with a different language, different culture, different food, and different religions. Which is significant because, unlike the US or Australia or Thailand, for instance, you can't just drive your car from one end of the country to the other. And because of this, there are parts of Indonesia that, even today, are some of the last true remote places on Earth.
Kamu suka ikan ini?
Ya, kita suka.
Ya? Enak ya?
Enak.
30 families live in this village. Many of them probably haven't seen white people before, and so it must have been a bit surreal for a boatload of us to randomly show up with a giant fish.
Hello.
But they couldn't have been friendlier. And despite how removed from modern civilization these villagers are, a selfie transcends all cultures and languages.
Satu lagi, kamu dan saya?
Every single family in the village got plenty of tuna steaks. And not one piece of this fish went to waste. And in return, they climbed a palm tree and gave us some coconuts. I secretly hope to come back here in the future and give the locals deja vu. Because, although this fish is pretty big, there will always be bigger ones out there somewhere.
Bye.